Hello everyone, how you doing today? The Weather and Toilet Finder 775 here. Welcome back to another video. Today I know I wasn't gonna do an update video today, but I kinda changed my mind. No, I am gonna do a quick update video before the storms hit. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would request that you consider subscribing if you do like my content, and also be sure to like the video and or leave a nice comment on it. Now let's get right into things. First things first is the Storm Prediction Center convective outlook. You can see that we have a general thunder area extending from the Great Plains, Great Lakes to the Mid-Atlantic southwestward to the south central to the Gulf Coast. A marginal risk extends from East Texas, a larger area than yesterday, to the central and southern Great Lakes. A slight risk extends from East Texas all the way to the southern Great Lakes and to Ohio, and even forking as far west as central Iowa. An enhanced risk, which is this orange shade, level 3 out of 5. This extends from Indiana, covers portions of Indiana, much of Illinois, Missouri, and eastern Iowa. And we have within that enhanced risk, we have an embedded moderate level 4 out of 5 risk. This is for far eastern Iowa and portions of central and northern Illinois, as it says so in the headline. I'm going to go ahead and show you the public severe weather outlook really quick. Public severe weather outlook correction 1. 12:38 p.m. Severe thunderstorms are expected over parts of the Midwest this evening and overnight. Locations: large part of Illinois, parts of eastern Iowa, western and central Indiana, and northeastern Missouri. Hazards: several tornadoes, and we could be seeing a few intense tornadoes according to the Storm Prediction Center. Scattered large hail. Some could be up to the size of baseballs. And that's 2.75 inches in diameter, viewers. That's some serious stuff. Isolated damaging winds, only up to potentially 60 miles an hour. 60, 65, perhaps even a 70 gust there. Now for the GFS temperature model run. Just a sec, I'm opening a couple extra tabs. So for temperatures, you can see that north of that northern Iowa is only into northern and western Iowa is only in the 40s and 50s, with the exception of a few counties in southwest Iowa with 60s possible. And then those 60s extend even further east and a little bit north, cover central and southern Iowa, maybe even becoming 70s in the south central and southeast. No wonder why they issued that moderate risk for portions of Illinois and Iowa. The 2-meter dew points are looking kind of decent for severe weather. You can see 50s over southern Iowa, 57, 59, 59, 59, 58. '63, '61, '60. GFS Cape. Well, let's start at 18Z. You can see Cape's looking pretty disappointing values except across central Illinois, where Cape values could be 1,000 to perhaps could be 800 to around 12 or 1400. It's, by 12Z, that cape's pretty much gone according to the GFS. And that's the end of that. The NAM model shows slightly cooler temperatures, 50s across 40s and 50s across a slightly more widespread area, with only 60s in the south. Now let's look at that NAM cape. By 18Z, cape values in central Iowa are looking pretty good. At least 1,000. 19. Cape values are moving further to the east, and they're even starting to build in central Illinois. 2,000 plus cape. And this area right where I live, Washington County, Iowa, is seeing at least 1,1600 cape. So I would not be surprised if, and I would like to take a look. I like to take a look at pivotal weather real quick. Supercell composite is looking pretty good. Southern Iowa, perhaps seeing at least 4, 5, perhaps 5, 6 supercells. Illinois 7 even. And by 8 p.m. that cape is pretty much in northeast Iowa. And then by 2 a.m. it's pretty much out of the Iowa and Illinois area altogether, according to the GFS. The bulk shear is also looking pretty strong. I'm gonna try to keep this under 20 minutes, as to not take so much time out of your day. You can see those reds across Iowa and Illinois. That's the area we're most concerned about, and also a little bit of Missouri. Iowa, Illinois, Missouri tri-state areas where we're most concerned. Midwest US. Yeah, you can see cape values across northern Illinois. I meant shear values are nearing 100 knots, nearing triple digits. By 18Z, that's 2 p.m., which is basically right now. Hour 12. There's no shear at all over western Iowa by this point in time. Now let's look at the GFS surface-based cape. You can see cape's already starting to build in southern Illinois, and already in excess of 1,000. Also in southwest Indiana, where it's maybe in excess of 1,100 in spots. Cape is building into the south of Iowa. And then my cape is only about 400, 200, lessening as you get further to the north, with even 0 cape in parts of northern Iowa. Goose egg. Now let's look at a couple more miles. The HRRR is showing by hour 2, 19Z. I'm going to zoom to the Midwest. You can see cape values. Most unstable cape values are already pretty high. You can see blues and blue grays. That's where we're at in excess of 1,000 cape, or 4-digit cape values. And look at central Illinois, south central and southern Illinois. We're even starting to see some yellows and oranges. That's when excess values near 3,000, 2 to 3,000 cape are possible. And they start to build even further over even surpassing the 3,000 mark. Now I just got put in a mesoscale discussion by the Storm Prediction Center and that cites tornado watch likely. And I would not kind of not be surprised within that significant tornado potential area. I would not be surprised if that watch was a particularly dangerous situation or PDS watch. Now let's look at that helicity 0 to 1 kilometer. Hour 3:20 is already it's already pretty high. And the greatest tornado risk at this point might be across Iowa and Illinois, and not more than Missouri. And this is again the HRRR model, and let's look at that significant tornado potential, or SIG-TOR. Values of 1 or greater typically usually always indicate tornado potential is there. Of 2.5, values of at least of the blue-gray, mostly blue-grays and yellows and oranges, were in excess of a tornado potential values in excess of 1 are possible, or likely, I should say, with values even in excess of near 5 possible in central Illinois, even near 6 in far western parts of that state. Whoa, 6.2 in Illinois, 6.5 in the central part. And what? And then let's take a look at that lapse rate real quick. You can see they're looking pretty steep. Whoa, 7.8 degrees Celsius lapse rate per kilometer. I think that's what it is. Now let's take a look at that radar range / frozen. Let's go to eastern US and zoom, well, because I want to zoom out. You can see that there's some thunderstorms starting to develop across western Iowa and northern Iowa, but at this time the storms in the west don't look to be that severe if at all. A 992 low pressure system centered over western Iowa and eastern Nebraska deepens to 991 and moves further into Iowa and further and further. Let's take let's take a further zoomed in look at the north central U.S. since all we're concerned about is the Iowa, Illinois, Missouri tri-state area. And by 22Z, which is about, I'd say, 6 p.m., we start to see this broken line of storms start to form. And then as they start to merge and they're moving rapidly northeast, and then it should be crossing the Mississippi River by 9 p.m. or onesies today or onesie Sunday. It should be out of the Iowa, Illinois, Missouri tri-state area altogether, largely into Indiana and parts of the Great Lakes. And let's take a look at a potential high risk. Yes, I'm saying high risk because the Storm Prediction Center says that it's not out of the question in about 45 minutes. So the greatest risk for long track significant tornadoes, long potential for very large and destructive hail and damaging wind gusts, still appears to exist from portions of northeast Missouri and arcing northwestward into Iowa, and then eastward across Illinois and into Indiana. It'll largely exist as new and intense storm development this afternoon in the wake of initial convection. And blah 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 blah. And then as the storms intensify rapidly this afternoon in response to the rapidly evolving environment, expect peak tornado risk to occur through the late afternoon and into the early evening hours. Potential high-risk severe weather reason conclusion. Large-scale significant severe weather setup and environment continuing to appear favorable for several significant, i.e. EF2 plus tornadoes. But however, they didn't upgrade to high risk. The Storm Prediction Center did not upgrade to high risk at the 16:30 UTC outlook or 11:30 a.m. Central Time because confidence remained too low at that time to delineate a potentially concentrated area of greatest risk, which would otherwise support a high risk upgrade. And that will be possible as remain possible as the situation evolves. Primary threats, as I mentioned before, tornadoes, long track and strong ones possible. This is very serious, viewers. Very, very serious. If you live in eastern Iowa, if you live in eastern Iowa or Illinois, you need to be on the look. If you really live anywhere within any of the severe areas above marginal, i.e., slight enhanced moderate, you really need to be preparing for severe thunderstorms and tornadoes. So I would not be surprised if there was a high risk for areas like Springfield, Illinois, and Springfield and Peoria. I would not even be surprised if that moderate risk were to cover all or most of my county or more of eastern or more of eastern Iowa, let alone my area, let alone my county, which is Washington County, Iowa, as most of you should know by this point in my YouTube career. And this looks. Let's take a look. Now let's take a look at that convective tornado probabilistic outlooks, tick-off counties, untick counties. Sorry. You can see that there's a 2% marginal tornado risk from East Texas all the way to the Ohio Valley and arcing into central Iowa. 5% within that, extending from the mid-south all the way to Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, and western Ohio. And I'm not done talking about tornadoes yet. 10% probabilities for Missouri, Iowa, for eastern Missouri, eastern Iowa, much of Illinois, and western Indiana. 15% tornado probabilities for far eastern Iowa and central and northern Illinois, parts of it. This is some really, and we even have a black hatched area here for 10% or greater probability of significant tornadoes, EF2 plus, as I mentioned before. 15%, and then that indicates 10% or greater probability of EF2 plus tornadoes within 25 miles of a point. Winds, only 5 and 15%, so it looks marginal to slight at best. Highest across from northeast Texas to North Louisiana and arcing northwestward into Iowa and eastward into the Ohio River Valley. Hail probabilities. This, coupled with the tornado potential, is why it's concerning to me. 5% hail risk up to quarter size from Texas all the way to the southern Great Lakes. 15% up to golf, more likely up to golf ball size. Golf ball size hail possible. Quarter to golf ball possible from North Texas, North Louisiana, all the way to the far southern Great Lakes and Ohio Valley, arcing westward into central Iowa. 30% hail probabilities of 1 inch or greater, up to golf ball size, extending from northwestern western Indiana, much of Illinois, eastern Missouri, and eastern Iowa, with even a black hatched area that's significant severe hail. 10% or greater probability of 2+ inch diameter hail within 25 miles of any given location. And that looks to be about it. This is creeping into 21 minutes. And if you like this video, please be sure to click like and or comment and or subscribe. This is my last update video. I will not be going live. Repeat, will not be going live during this event. But I promise you, in lieu of going live, I promise you that I will film as many weather alerts as I can off of my weather radios. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye-bye.